Hello, happy Tuesday, Michael. So good to see you again. We are here to share some fantastic information on house maintenance and how to take care of your house for the winter. So, really good stuff because people don't want to maintenance, it's tough work. So, getting a little list, a little checklist will be fantastic. I'm Laura Fournier. I am with Nations Lending, and I am here to be helpful to you. I'm intentional and definitely purposeful in helping my clients get through the process and understanding what they need and giving them all their options to fill those needs. So, Laura Fournier, Nations Lending, and my cohort in crime here on our weekly show. Introduce yourself.
Yes, I am the notorious criminal Michael Kurtanik, Mac and Doc Realtors, here in front of my Pez dispensers, which, if anybody would like a close-up comment below. I'm excited about this topic today because we're getting into the colder weather, Laura, and it's always good to have viewers be reminded of some things they can do inside their home and outside their home to prep for the winter. And I developed a top 10 list, five things people can do inside their home to prep for the winter, and 5 things outside their home for the winter. So if you like, subscribe, and share, and comment below, we'll give you that full top 10 list. But this morning, we'll just go over a couple of them, Laura, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if we start on the outside of the house, because it's always best when you have tasks to do, is to do like the hardest ones first. So probably outside's a little more challenging because you have to be out in the weather and the cold and maybe do some things that you don't like to do. So on the outside of the house, what's a great thing or kind of a must do to when you're maintaining a house?
Great. So, Laura, one thing that all homeowners should do is make sure that they shut off the valves, their water valves, that are inside the house, typically in the basement. And it's the valves that go to the outside spigots. I have 2 at my house, one by the garage exterior spigot and one in the backyard. And I have 2 valves that I have to shut off every fall. And I do it around November 1 because in this part of the country, it's around the time of November that we get our first frost, sometimes earlier, sometimes later. But shut off the valves and then go back outside and open up the spigots. You want to drain out all of the water, Laura, so that the water doesn't freeze in the winter and cause any of your pipes to burst.
That is so true. And this actually happened to me. True story. I'll make it real quick. We bought a house. We weren't told that the house had 2 outdoor valves, and we didn't even see the other valve because it was literally hidden behind the drywall. They had boxed it in. We didn't see it. We didn't know it was there.
Wow.
And our pipe, I don't know, I guess we had been in the house because we bought the house mid-August. So sometime we had been there 4 or 5 months. And my kid woke me up because they got up earlier. It was a weekend and we had water like raining in our basement because the pipe froze and the carpet was squish, 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 and water just raining down. And then that's how we found out that we had a second valve to shut off, and where it was, what it had been drywalled in when they, I guess, did a repair. I don't know how it got drywalled in, but it did.
Yeah. Wow. You would think the homeowners would have remembered to tell you that upon the sale of the home, but
Well, we bought it. What the people had been, they were the original owners. They had lived there for like 40 years, but they were elderly and they had gotten moved out and their kids sold the house. So I don't think the kids remembered it. So it wasn't intentional, but Yeah, we had to rebuild the whole entire basement. Yeah.
Yeah, so now,
Good
many
question
homeowners,
to ask too, when
what's
you
that?
buy the house, is to ask where the outdoor spigots are.
Yes. Yeah, that's good.
Shut
And
off.
also, the home inspector should be able to identify and take pictures too. But inspector wouldn't see something that's sealed in a drywall, that you can,
Mhm.
yeah. But wow, that's crazy. So you had to bring in probably insurance estimate, and then, you had to have people in the house to dry and cut open the drywall, and you had to take inventory because you probably lost some personal items, huh?
Yeah, we gutted the whole entire basement, but it turned out to be a total blessing because the guy we bought the house from was an engineer, and he kind of fancied himself like he can do it all, like a do-it-yourselfer. And we found out that his electrical wiring was so bad that there was actually like sparks and burn marks
Oh
from
my gosh.
electrical wiring. So it was actually a blessing that we had the flood.
Right. And not a fire. Yeah.
Right. So I was like, oh my God. I mean, it was a lot to deal with, but nonetheless, it was a blessing in disguise. So we were happy that it happened. But
Oh
it
my
was great.
gosh. I had a flood in the basement because of hurricane. We had Hurricane Sandy or Hurricane Katrina or somebody. We had one of those once in a generation kind of storms where we had 2, 3 inches of rain and the sump pump just burned out, so flooded our basement. But not because we were either unaware of that spigot that was hidden that was built around, or that we forgot to turn off the valves in the basement and then let the water run out of the spigots outside. Because
Mhm.
yeah, and it always happens, Laura, on the worst day, worst time, worst everything.
But you just never know when it's just that bad thing turns into your saving grace, because would have been in our situation. I'm sure the house would have caught on fire with his electrical wiring. So
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
but yeah, that's so important, and just, something for homeowners to really know, especially, there's a lot of, I'm not saying that us ladies aren't as mechanically inclined, but there's a lot of single moms and that, own a house, and this is something that they might not think about because they're so busy with the kids and stuff. So what would be your number two thing to do?
Boy, for me has to do with fire. And that is, if you have a chimney, please get it inspected and cleaned. Um, you have to check your local, what do you call it, local laws and guidelines as to how often you should clean out your chimney. But I'll tell you my story. Just a couple weeks ago, before Thanksgiving, we have a wood stove insert in our
Mhm.
house, and I fired it up for the first time. It seemed like it was burning. I was burning a little more wood than usual, but I didn't really take notice of it. And a day or two later, when I cleaned out the ashes, I found pieces of metal and brick in among the ashes.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Now we're the second owners of this house, and the wood stove came with the house, and we've had this house for over 15 years. So um, we had the chimney cleaned probably before the pandemic, and I was going to do one this spring, but this accelerated it. So I ordered 2 estimates on what to do, and next week they're going to put in a whole new wood stove insert and a liner that this time goes all the way up the chimney.
Mhm, mhm.
We did not have a liner that went all the way up. It was code back when it was okay to do that, not do the liner all the way up. But this time I'm making sure we're
Mhm.
doing that. So very important. My second on my list of 5 things to do exterior is to, make sure that they check the chimney inside and out. They must go up on the ladder and check for any cracks that might be coming
Mhm,
down the mortar. Check the
mhm.
cement crown at the top. If there's a crow's nest on top of the crown, then have the chimney inspector inspect all of that, because high heat will stress the bricks and could cause a lot of decay and rotting inside and out.
And if somebody needs a good chimney company, just text me and I can refer somebody.
Yep.
And probably so can Michael. I have a friend, she had a chimney fire back probably March of this year, and she's been out of her house all this time, and they are just getting to the rebuilding part now. So she's been in covered by insurance hotel, long, like an extended stay place for 9 months.
Wow.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
It
So
is.
yes, please. I believe I was told that every cord and a half or so you should have your chimney cleaned. So that's probably like a season if you burned quite a bit.
Yeah.
Maybe every other season if you're burn a little less often. It's
Yeah.
so important to get
It
that
was-
taken care of and make sure that you're maintaining that chimney, especially if you like to, like we do love a fire and we are regular with that. So you really have to be careful because a fire is very, very scary and can just take out everything. So yeah, that's perfect. And yeah,
So
you
those
love
are
up your
my,
fireplace, but love it up by getting those specialists out there and take a look at it.
right. And I would add too that when you go to sell your house, you can show any buyer your records of how often it was cleaned and maintained. So you show that pride of ownership. So that's pretty important. So those are my two exterior things that homeowners should focus in on to help maintain their home for the winter. One has
Okay,
to do with
so
water and one with fire.
perfect, perfect. So let's go inside the house. And what's number 2 on the list? Because we're going to save number 1 save the best for last.
Yeah, okay. So this was something that I learned recently from somebody, I don't remember whom exactly, but if you have a sump pump in the basement of your house, and the purpose of a sump pump is when it rains, water will go around your foundation and there's corrugated pipes that go into your sump pump. And then there's a motor inside and it forces any water that's rising up a pipe and out into the backyard. One thing that every homeowner can do each fall and winter is pour water into the sump pump to make sure it works.
Okay.
This way, they can artificially fill that sump pump bucket, essentially, and make sure that the motor works. Because this way they'll have peace of mind so that when the rain comes or when we have a heavy snowfall and everything starts melting, the sump pump will be working, at least at the time when you artificially pour all of the water into the sump pump. So that's one maintenance tip that we will give you to the viewers about inside your house.
Okay. And also with the sump pump, make sure you have a battery backup.
Yes.
Because if the power goes out and you need the sump pump and it doesn't have a battery backup, your sump pump isn't turning on.
Yeah,
so if you don't have that, call your handy dandy handyman and get that taken care of, because you want that sump pump to be working when it's needed, and testing it is a terrific idea. I think I don't think I ever did that. Another conversation with the hubby tonight.
Yeah, and I have also after the first time my sump pump, the motor burned out, I actually bought 2, one to install and one to keep just in case. So if I need to really quickly, the motor burns or something, I can just do it on the spot and then replace the burned out sump pump with the new one. So with the new motor. So I have I want just in case. You never know.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what is the number 1 thing for interior of the house? Drum roll.
I would say, please get your furnace checked out, have your HVAC system checked out. If you don't have a maintenance agreement with a local HVAC company, I would advise you to do so. They come out twice a year and they inspect and will advise you on what to do. At minimum, change the air filters. At minimum, clean the return vents throughout the house. You know how dusty they can get.
Mhm.
And I have a hack for that. But before I share that, like a flood, like the chimney, a furnace that doesn't work, that can't provide heat in the winter, will happen at the absolute worst time.
Yes,
You
it
know,
will.
Saturday morning at 3 a.m., you wake up and
Mhm.
it's chilly and no one comes out on a weekend. You got a couple days. And so my number one tip is to really make sure that your furnace is running smoothly. And if it means a maintenance agreement, please do so. Shop around.
Absolutely. I have a maintenance agreement and I love it because the company that I have it with, well, they're fabulous and I'd be happy to refer them too. But they make their maintenance agreement clients priority.
Right.
So if you are a maintenance agreement customer, you get priority. So that means they're coming out on the weekend or they're coming out in the middle of the night or whatever. So that's just priceless.
Yeah.
And from my conversations with them, because of the supply chain issues, having that maintenance agreement is really important so that they can troubleshoot ahead of time. Because sometimes if you have older units, you can't get the parts for them and you could be out of heat for longer than you think if they can't get the part to fix it. So maintenance, maintenance, maintenance now more than ever is so important. And it's not that expensive. And they give you a discount on the parts and labor when you have the maintenance agreement. So it really pays for itself. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, and I would add, Laura, too, the peace of mind you have,
Mhm.
knowing that in September, October, when they come in, you're set for the winter. When they come March, April, May, you're set for the summer. This way, you don't have the the unknown of, oh my God, the furnace is going to break down, or the air handler
Mhm.
outside or in the attic is going to go crazy. So, yeah. So, I
And
advise,
also maybe
do that.
unlike my brother, who's I'm talking about my family members.
Yeah.
It's okay. He's got a really old furnace. It's like, my God, maybe you could like put the old dog to rest here and get a new one before, it's going to die and you're going to be, it's probably going to die in January.
Yeah.
But, he just wants to get that last little thing out of it. I'm like, oh my goodness. Okay. Well, I hope they have units put in when it goes. So just a thought.
No,
Yes, I'm
that's
talking
great.
about my crazy brother. He knows who I'm talking about.
Oh,
I'll make him a nice dinner and make up for it later.
that's great. And this maintenance tip is not just for electrical HVAC system, but also if you have oil, or
Oh
propane
yeah,
heat,
you got to maintenance
you
that
still have to do that.
and try to top off your oil and your propane before the heat season. It's so
Yes.
much less expensive to do it then because when they're happy to come in the dead of winter, they will be pleased, but you're doubling up your costs. So
No, you're absolutely
a
right,
little
Laura.
budgeting tip on the side.
Well, and I want to share this one DIY hack when it comes to cleaning your vents in the house. You know how in the house you have like these different vents and they return the air and circulate the air in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And those get dusty, right? And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes a toothbrush isn't enough. So what I learned from watching a YouTube video is just to get a wet rag and a butter knife.
Oh, wow.
Put the knife inside and then just go back and forth under it and go in each one, and it works like a charm.
Okay. Awesome. So now there's more uses for those washcloths and butter knives too. Those butter
Yes.
knives kind of get a little lonely except for the holidays because nobody breaks them out.
Well,
So
so those
awesome,
are
good stuff, really good stuff. So important. I love
so
the
those were
topic.
4 that we talked about, 2 on the outside, 2 on the inside. For a full list, just like, subscribe, and share below. Comment asking for the full list, and in our respective YouTube channels, Laura will send you a copy, or I'll send you a copy, depending on which one you comment on, and be happy to share with you the rest. So we wish you a very safe and maintenance-free winter season, wherever you might live.
Absolutely. And check us out next week. Also, you can share the YouTube links with your friends and family. It's great to keep them safe too. So it can be a little free holiday gift. Costs you nothing, but helps you out.
Exactly. So, well, actually, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have, remember, you don't have to be a Superman to maintain your house.
There you go. I love Superman. It's a good thing to watch on a cold, rainy day with your
There you go.
fireplace going.
That's
So
right.
thank you, Michael. Terrific topic. Love it. And we hope to see everybody next week. And don't forget to like, share, check out our YouTube channel. We really appreciate your comments as well.
You got it. Take care. Have a great week, everybody.
All right. Happy holidays. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.